Hello, Chasubiri again. Good to see you. Welcome back. In the last episode, I did an introduction to the Mother of Sons series. And I explained that I'm a mother of sons. And as a female, I believe we must stand and raise each gender carefully. Over the last 40 plus years, there has been a very careful move to empower women. And I understand where that comes from. Society as a whole has made room for men and through the years disenfranchised the woman. I get. If you look through African culture, Asian culture, across the world really, there was very little room for women. So a point in society came when something had to be done. Something significant had to be done to make room for the woman. And it's been an amazing journey. I am a beneficiary of the girl child movement. Opportunities that were never available before had come. Now, on the flip side, men have been told, you're a man, figure it out. I have sat with men across the generations and I have asked one consistent question. What does it mean to be a man? And many of them cannot even define that. There's a saying around here, mwanaume ni kujichocha. And I keep asking, what is kujichocha? To date, all I get is laughter. And I ask this a lot in conversations with young men. A young man gets to 18 and he's told to be a man. What is that? Please understand that having a male reproductive organ doesn't make you a man in that sense. It just makes you male and able to impregnate and have children. Right? But what makes man man? And I said earlier, even as men rule the world, many of them are ill-equipped for survival. Ill-equipped. My conversations with young men, and by young men, I define it as young men between the ages of, I spend a lot of time with 14 to about 26, largely, but then I also have conversations with those up to about 35. I have come across some very, very worrying trends. The young men assume that power, strength is what makes them a man. Does it? I don't know. And then they're told, you're the head of your home. What does that even mean? And then I had a pastor who said, the man is the head of the home, but the woman is the neck. The neck, as you see, turns the head. But if the head and the neck are not in agreement, the head wants to go left, the neck wants to go right. There's a disconnect there. I have looked around employment opportunities and situations. One of the trends I have seen more and more is that now more and more girls are buying cars than guys. Girls are investing in land and in houses earlier, at least in Kenya. They're pulling side hustles successfully alongside jobs. They're saving, they have groups. Now, I'm not saying no men are doing it. There are men who are doing it. But a larger majority of females are doing it. So, let me give you a scenario. I say our young men are disadvantaged, and this is why I say it. So, in a home, I have a son and I have a daughter. Let's imagine I don't. I have a son. Biologically, I have one son, one child. But say I had a son and a daughter. Culturally, the way we would do it is as they grow. So let's say my son is the older one, my daughter is the younger one. So of course my son will be born and he'll be named after either my father-in-law or, some important man. That's how we do it around here. Okay? But generally with the father-in-law. So of course, I would not really send that child. First of all, I'll call him something like Baba, because I can't call my father-in-law's name all the time. So I'd call him Baba, or come up with a pet name for him. And then I give birth to a daughter. Apple of her father's eye, which is all fine, but there is a way a girl should be. So let's say from when she's 2 and she's walking steadily, at the end of dinner, I'll tell her, pick your plate, take to the kitchen, take this here, do this, do that. So I'll give her instructions. What is my son doing? Very likely playing with a phone or watching TV. As my daughter grows up, I will teach her to cook. I'll teach her to clean. I will tell her things like, by the time I come back, I want to find you have done 1, 2, 3. I'll give her chores to do. I may give my son chores, but if he doesn't do them, it is very likely I'll find a reason for why he's not doing it. So the little girl will play. She'll still get her chores done. She'll figure it out. As she grows older, I'll begin to send her to the shop and tell her, here's 100 shillings. I need to buy a loaf of bread, 2 tomatoes and 2 onions. And we'll do the math and she'll know it's 100 shillings. She'll come back with the change. Now, just in that place, I have taught her financial management because I'm teaching her to handle money. All right? I'm telling her, whatever you do, I need to come and find these things done. So she will find a way to still play with her brother and her friends and still come home and do her chores. All right? Then as she gets older, I will give her more instructions about money and around running the home. Right? Her brother's just playing on outside with his friends, watching TV, maybe if I can afford it, Xbox and all those things. And because of the nature of my work, I have a nanny or a housekeeper or both. But let's say I've got one who doubles as both, nanny, housekeeper. Now, by her upbringing, boys shouldn't work at home. So it's likely I leave my son chores and he gets away and the nanny does them. I may not follow it up. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere. So by the time this girl is 24, because I've been sending her to the shop and I've been taking her shopping with me, and she's been seeing how I'm calculating and trying to figure out how to fit everything into a certain budget, she has learned basic financial management skills. She has learned time management skills because she needs to figure out how to do all her playing and still get her housework done. She has learned project management skills because I'll tell her, I need you to cook a full meal. Now, cooking a meal is science. So she'll have learned that. In this time, what has my son learned? Nothing. He has learned he can play and get away with it. Then she turns 16, 17, and she begins all these conversations with her aunties. And you find it said, because as mothers we won't say these things loudly, but you'll find an auntie who will come and say, never depend on a man. What a man can do, you can do better. And please understand, she's been told these things in school because they have classes or they have conversations for girls. Or we've taken them for some, these are transitional classes that we take our children to as they move from teenage to adulthood. So she's been through those things. She's been taught the correlation between finances and economic freedom. You know, the fact that you don't depend on somebody, you can stand on your own 2 feet. What has my son been taught? He's been playing violent video games, so he's been taught to fight. Outside, if he comes home crying that he was hit by so-and-so, I'll tell him, can you go back and fight? Please stand your ground. He's been taught a man is the leader, but he may or may not have leadership skills, unless I've been deliberate. So I'm assuming it's a homestead where the parents are not deliberate. When this girl turns 18, say she's 2 years younger than her brother. At 18, she has project management, time management, personal development, because we're like, always read. She has some basics of financial management, and she's been told, you must dream, you must get ahead. So she meets a guy, And she's asking him, what are your plans for the future? You see, she knows how to dream. This guy knows nothing. She asks him, what are your financial goals? He's clueless. Completely clueless. And where do you want to go for coffee? She's been able to figure a few things out, and she wants to do Java. But to do Java, you need about 2,000 shillings in the pocket to do a decent date. So then the story becomes, girls like money. It is said, wanawake wanapenda pesa. That is not the whole truth. The girls just learnt earlier that there is a correlation between money and economics and freedom. And they have been pursuing it diligently. So the girl child empowerment system has built a network of women who are consistently watching out for one another and sharing information. And this, my daughter, meets a 24-year-old young man who is interested in her because she's beautiful and balanced, but who cannot stand her drive. And I dare say he cannot stand her drive because he was never, ever trained. We have severely disadvantaged our sons. Mothers, think again. Fathers, you must come and be present. Our sons are in crisis. We'll discuss this more on the next episode. Feel free to subscribe. Laters.